never know, no matter what the outcome is this is the most important thing. And I want you to all hear me. All three of you, I want you to hear me. I know it's hard. Yes, I know that the rejection can be hard. Or you're questioning, did I do enough? Did I sing the right song? Was I tall enough? Was I short enough? Was I this? Was I that? Why can't I, do this? Or they need to see me do more. Sometimes when we go into ourselves so much and we question and doubt ourselves, sometimes it's not healthy. Sometimes it's okay when we're learning a lesson. Yes, whether it's a skillful lesson, a life lessons, they are all life lessons. Many of your parents have texted me back and said, wow, Renee, they were so hard on themselves that they wanted to, to please you, or they wanted to please us, or they wanted to please the casting directors. That's not going to happen. Yes. And some of you have those qualities that which are commendable. They're great for teenagers to want to do the right thing, to want to please our parents, to want to do our best. But you can't let it drag you down. We cannot let it define us if we got a callback or not, or if our dance was good enough or not, or maybe we cracked on the note. That does not matter. Yes? Amen? Rejection, a lot of the times, is a good thing. Yes? And we don't know why. You don't know why. You don't know if they already have other singers or dancers, or if they're taller or shorter, or you're too tall or too short, or we need so-and-so to be an alto, they're a soprano. Right? The creative team, which I'm on the other side a lot, they are trying to put all these things together, and they're trying to put a cast together, and the heights and the sizes and the costume requirements it takes, and the parents and how they all get along, and how the teens get along backstage. All these things come into play. Yes, Renee's going to shout it out now. It has nothing to do with your talent. Nothing. This business of show and business in general, just the workforce, it has nothing to do with our skills and our talent. Sometimes it's not the right timing. I have to look at it from a divine perspective. Sometimes it's not God's timing. We want it to be, but sometimes God has something else for us to do, or he needs us to be somewhere else. Yes? And I'm going to give you a great examples, ladies. Listen up, and moms and dads. I've been in this business for over 30-something years, right? And you all know that professionally. I've traveled toward the world, done all these big shows, right? I still work in the business. Well, Miss Renee, I'm going to share my heart with you now. 2 weeks ago, I was called in for MTV's VMA, Music Video Awards ceremony. And there were this was with my agents in New York, and they needed 40, 50, and 60-year-olds that still had a lot of youth and energy and could still dance and have fun and tell a story. Well, I knew that was me. I got to the call. There were maybe about 200. They whittled it down to 100 of us. Then we danced again. They whittled it down to about 50. By the time I got on the train home, my agent said, Renee, you are put on hold. And they're not sure, who they want, but you're on hold. 10 of us were on hold. I waited till that night because I was supposed to have rehearsals up in New York the next morning for the VMAs, for the Video Music Awards. Huge, big thing. They shot it in New York. It was live. And Tice DiOrio, who is a huge choreographer for So You Think You Can Dance, he danced behind Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson. He is now Taylor Swift's choreographer. Well, I was on hold to be one of the dancers behind Taylor Swift at the Video Music Awards that aired last Monday. There was 10 of us. Guess what? They only chose 3. So I got let go. I got let off hold at 10:30 that night. I was so sad. I was just like, and I've been doing this for over 30 years. I've had rejection before where I've gone to musical calls or callbacks for Broadway shows and got to the end, when I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s. I'm in my 50s, and it's still hard when they say, oh, no, thank you. We went a different route, Renee. And it had nothing to do with my talent. It had nothing to do with my resume and that I'd worked so hard and so long for. It had nothing to do with, wow, there was, a couple hundred, then they whittled it down to 10, and then they only chose 3. And those three, I supported them that night and I watched the show and they danced behind Taylor Swift and it was amazing. But it wasn't for me. This was 2 weeks ago. Then the next day I bounce back, go back up to New York for a commercial shoot. Before I leave the building to get back on the train to come back to South Jersey, the casting director runs out and says, Renee, we're putting you on first refusal. Now, first refusal means a strong hold. That means if they don't see anyone else, that I am the first one to book that role. Well, guess what? About 4:30, 5 o'clock, my agent sends me an email. Renee, sorry, they've released you. They went with someone else. And when I asked my agent, well, I was on first refusal. I thought I booked. I learned all my script in 2 days. It was like 20 pages of script. This was for a business client. Sharp, was there on time, did what I had to do. And I had to ask my agent, what had happened. She said, you didn't look old enough still. And I went, fine, that's fair. But I had 2 major bookings within a week on hold and then nothing. So, needless to say, it was really, really hard for me. It really was. I didn't cry, but I was like, oh man, I was like, oh, and I talked to my husband and my kids. I called my mommy. I was like, Mommy, I was all the way to the end. And then what happened? Am I not good enough? Am I not? No, it just wasn't my time. And we were all from pretty much the same agency. So my agents are amazing at what they do, And I said, thank you so much. I sent them an email back. Oh, I was so close. And they said, yeah, Renee, but that's the way life is. Not just the business, not just show business, but that's the way life can be. Yeah, even though some of us are, going into high school. I didn't get all the roles in the high school plays at Cherokee High School that I wanted to get. I didn't get dance captain. One of my last years, I thought I was going to. I was devastated. I came home and cried for hours to my mom. And my mom said, well, what are you going to do about it, Renee? Are you going to quit or are you going to stay on that team? And are you going to finish out your junior and senior year? And you know what I did? I stuck with it. And I ended up having to teach all the other dancers on the dance squad how to do the routines properly. I didn't think it was fair because I should have been the dance captain. But you know what? I was a team player and it wasn't my time. And do you know what the one of my teachers ended up pulling me to the side? And this is, she said, Renee, you have it. She said, I'm going to see you on Broadway and tour and travel the world and do this professionally. She said, some of these girls, they'll never have this opportunity after high school or college. So that's why I gave it to the other dancer, for her to be the dance captain, so that she could be inspired and lifted up and encouraged and elevated, because she knew that she wouldn't be doing the same thing I was going to be doing. It was still hard. I still didn't want to hear it, right? When I was 17 years old, 18, I was like, but I wanted it. I just, knew I would have been better at it. But guess what? 10, 15 years later, on national tours, and you need to get through? Go ahead, you can get through. Okay, yeah, I had it paused. Sorry. So, what was I saying? Oh, so that was the deal in high school. And it was really hard, but then guess what? 10, 15 years later, I'm on the national tour of Smokey Joe's Cafe, and the Broadway producers chose me as the dance captain. It's all in God's timing. That's what I'm telling all of you. When we get that blessing, when we work hard, when we know that we love and we have a passion for our craft, we're not going to give up. We're not going to quit. Sometimes, yes, does it hurt when we don't get what we want? Yes, it does, because we feel as though maybe that we may deserve it, and maybe we do. Maybe we did do the best that we could. Maybe all three of you did the best that you could do. And they all know you. They've all known that you've done shows. They all know that you can sing and that you can dance and that you're great kids. You're respectful. You show up on time. Your parents are all pleasant. A lot of the times it has nothing to do with you and or your talent, or that you fell short. So please, girls, please, my young ladies, try not to be so hard on yourselves. Yeah. Give yourself some grace and some mercy and listen to your parents because they love you. They love you and they are going to be here and I will be here to support you, to lift you up, to catch you when you fall. That's part of life. We always don't get what we want. We always don't win. We always don't come in first place. But we learn from it. We get stronger. Yes. We endure. We help someone else out on their journey because there's young ladies, look, and your peers that are looking up to you, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds, your own siblings in your own home are looking up to you to say, wow, how's Miracle? How's Naomi or Eva? How are they dealing with this? It must be really hard for them. But look at them. They're going to brush themselves off and keep it moving. Yes, is it hard? Yes, did we want that? Yes, can you go around for a few days feeling a little sad and a little blue? Yes, that's okay. Yes, it's okay to be human and to have those feelings. I do it. I do it as well. But when your parents and your teachers and your instructors are telling you to keep going, that you are gifted, that you are smart, that you are talented, you are. And it's not enough for us as parents, as coaches, as teachers to tell you that. We can tell you until we're blue in the face, but you all have to believe it from your heart. And that comes from within. And that comes from your time with God and saying, thank you, God. I'm so blessed. I'm healthy. I have a great family. I have parents that love me and support me. I have a great team of people that are going to, push me to where I want to be. I do want to dream. I do have goals. I have great friends that love me. I want to have time to be a teenager and enjoy my freshman year in school. All of these things are so important. Yes? And I want to tell the three of you, I am so super proud of you. So now we're going to brush ourselves off. We're going to continue to move ahead and move forward. And we are going to continue to inspire ourselves, inspire each other, encourage each other, and keep it moving the best way that we can. Ladies, don't be so rough and hard on yourselves. You are. Some of you are pretty intense. As I'm thinking, I think I was the same way in high school, a little. I wanted to please my parents, and there's nothing wrong with pleasing your parents. They have a standard. But we don't want to get so far into the people pleasing that we're just doing it for them and for this approval. We are already approved and stamped by God. There's nothing more or nothing extra that we can do because we are saved by what? Grace and grace alone. Yes, and we're perfect the way we are. Yes, can we always work on things? Of course we can. Of course we can. And that means everything across the board. Academics, sports, music, whatever it is. But there has to come a time where we're like, you know what? I get it. Okay, cool. All right, what's next, God? And that's for me. So what's next for me is, I'm getting ready to open 9 to 5 at Norristown. I've got a really great cast and group of people, for a college age all the way up, professional performing arts adults. And we're having a great time. And I'm still coaching. And I'm still on a couple of wait lists from my agents up in New York with some other big commercial projects. Am I going to book it? I don't know. Would I like to book it? Of course I would. Of course. But that doesn't define who I am. This is part of who I am and what I love, and it's my passion. It's what I do. And I've been blessed to be able to do it for all of these years. And now I can give it back to all of you. And that encourages and inspires me. That's why I wanted to share my story, because guess what? It's not like, oh yeah, Miss Renee, well, she used to do those shows back in the day, and man, she must have never gone through anything, and she booked all these shows, and oh, how cool is that? I still get dejected too. I still get, no thank you, we don't need any more. Or no, you didn't book this. Or no, we went with somebody else. Or no, you weren't old enough looking. Or no, you were too short. Or you were too this. And that's okay. And that's okay. Because I know who I am deep, deep down inside. And I know God's got my back. And I know my husband and my kids and my family has got my back. And I know the community that I serve, they've got my back. And I know my students and my of course, my families, you all have my back. Yeah, and you want the best for me as I want the best for all of you. Yes?